Oh, where is she? We're about to start filming! Oh, man. Oh, camera's on. Konnichiwa, everybody. My name is Sylvia-chan, and I am Garden Angel's helper with her series. Yeah. I hate to tell you this, but she's kinda gone. What the heck? What the heck happened? Garden Angel-chan! Where have you been? Sylvia? Why are you oh my gosh! What? Oh crap. Come on, hurry up, get dressed! We gotta show this film! They're filming right now! Quick intro! Konnichiwa, everybody. I'm Garden Angel 181, and even though I have no idea what just happened, welcome to another episode of Lady Otaku Presents. As of late, people have been curious about reasons why characters act the way they do, speak the way they speak, or just want to know the true story behind the creation of their favorite shows or movies. These often become known as conspiracy theories for the shows, and are often explanations for things in classic tales that may not be true. Sometimes they're happy, like a theory that the Disney's Little Mermaid is the cousin to Disney's Hercules. Or the theory that Elsa is not actually sisters with Anna, but with Rapunzel from Tangled. Others, however, are dark and downright sad, such as the Rugrats theory. This states that all the babies from the show are actually only figments of Angelica's mind. Another one would be that Twilight is actually a story about an abusive relationship between Bella and Edward. The movies are certainly abusive to us fans of the novels. Anyway, anime is certainly not left out of these conspiracy theory ideas. Granted, there are not as many as the American cartoon ones, but there are still some interesting theories out there. Let's take a look at them, shall we? Okay, let's start off with one of the most popular anime conspiracies out there. That being, the entire world of Pokemon is actually caused by Ash being in a coma. Much like the Adventure Time theory, which states that Finn actually got into an accident and is in a coma imagining the entire world of Ooh, this theory has the basic same concept of creating its own society inside one's own head. This theory states, as the title implies, Ash goes into a coma by being struck by lightning while riding a bicycle. The Pokemon, his adventures, everything is just a story he made up in his head to pass the time. And you have to admit, it's kind of common to come up with weird stuff when you're sleeping. I've had a few doozies myself. This is why Ash never seems to age in this show, because he doesn't have any idea whatsoever what he would look like when he got older. Especially since he could, do a Neville Longbottom. Or he could just be ugly, who knows. Maybe the Pokemon in his dreams are based off his own imagination mixed with real animals from his hometown. For example, if you think about it, Pikachu is a mouse-type Pokemon, right? He could be based off of a mouse. Poliwhirl actually looks like a tadpole. And Magikarp looks like a goldfish. This theory is quite interesting, I believe, and it does explain why Ash still looks 10 after 15 years. Another Pokemon theory that I find interesting is that the world of Pokemon is actually a post-apocalyptic world, where all the animals we know, such as dogs and cats, have all died off. What replaced them was a multi-celled, jelly-like animal that became known as Ditto. This is why they're able to take on the forms of other Pokemon, and are able to mate with them. Of course, there's also the theory of Lavender Town, but that is so well known that I am not actually going to go into it. So let's off to the next subject, shall we? Oh, Miyazaki-san, you create such unique movies with interesting characters and stories. You have always been one of my favorite directors and produced some of my favorite movies. Out of all of them, who would have guessed that at least 3 of your movies have a conspiracy theory attached to them? One of which, My Neighbor Totoro, would be one of the darkest I've actually ever heard. For those of you who may not know, My Neighbor Totoro is a kid-friendly movie about a family moving to the countryside near a forest inhabited by magical creatures of the forest. They may or may not be the spirits of the forest. It's a little hard to tell. The only thing we really know about them is that they're kind of giant raccoon dogs. The Totoro theory states that Totoro is actually a god of death. He only appears to individuals who are either close to death or are already dead. At the end of the movie, according to this theory, Mei, the younger sister, actually dies when she gets lost in the forest. Satsuki was able to call Totoro to find her sister in Limbo, where they get to see their mother for the last time. Their mother, on the verge of death herself, is the only one who can see them. Some conspiracists also connect the movie with the infamous Sayamaya incident in Japan, since the film takes place in Sayamaya Hills. This police case involves 2 sisters dying, one who was raped and killed, and the older sister committing suicide after claiming that she saw a cat-like figure. Maybe something like Totoro? Studio Ghibli disputes this claim, saying that there's no way in all shapes and forms that this film is connected with the murder or the idea that Totoro is a god of death. Personally, I don't think so either. I mean, look at that face! Spirited Away is one of the studio's most famous movies, winning several different awards. It also has possibly been confirmed by Hayao Miyazaki to have a theory connected to it that could be true. So does that make that a theory then? It's hard to say if it's confirmed. Anyway, the main idea coming from this conspiracy theory is the idea that the spirit world in Spirited Away is actually connected to prostitution. It is true that during the Edo period of Japan, bathhouses were known for hiring primarily women to not only work the bathhouses and to clean them, but also as prostitutes to bring in extra money. Children were often used to pay off debts and were even often forced to change their names, just like Chihiro did. This is actually very well shown in the movie Memoirs of a Geisha. These women were often called Yuna, much like as the women in the movie Spirited Away, and the owners of these bathhouses were also called Yubabas. See a connection here? If it's true that as Miyazaki-san is hinting at, then this sure is a unique way to tell a history lesson, isn't it? Another Studio Ghibli theory is that Ponyo and Kiki's delivery service take place in the same universe. This theory states that at the end of Ponyo on the shore, the 2 kids end up growing up, falling in love, and starting their own bakery, which the young witch Kiki starts to work at after arriving in the town. I personally like this one a lot because it does make a ton of sense. These characters look an awful lot like each other. I'm not quite sure about the time frames at this point. However, if you look at the 2 main characters from Ponyo, and then if you look at the 2 older characters in Kiki's delivery service, you actually see a lot of resemblance. It could also be a really cool idea to imagine that these 2 stories, one with the sea god and based off the Little Mermaid, could be in the same universe as witches. See? Not all theories are about mental breakdowns and death. Bottle Fairy is a short, cutesy anime that stars 4 fairies trying to understand the human world from their neighbor Tama-chan and a man they live with, Sensei-san. It's definitely girly, but full of charm as the 4 fairies, Kururu, who is associated with spring, Chiriri, who is associated with summer, Sarara, who is associated with fall, and Hororo, who is associated with winter, learn about the worlds around them. It's definitely geared towards little children, or maybe even young adults. But is this what the show is really about? The theory revolving around this one is that the fairies are actually a manifestation of Sensei-san's sister's autism or schizophrenia. The show actually takes place through the sister's eyes, and therefore the fairy's eyes, since the fairies are a physical manifestation of her mind. Sensei-san and Tama-chan act like they see the fairies in order to help the sister get better through time. In the series finale, when the four fairies become human, that is actually the sister, Hime-chan. It is symbolic of how the sister is trying to break through her mental disability, but fails when the fairies separate. There is a positive, however, when the fairies confess that they want to try again.
It's much harder being human than I thought it would be. But it wasn't that bad. It was really hard, but it was also the most fun I've ever had. Next time, let's be separate.
And if you look at it through this theory, it is saying that the sister, even though she has gone back into her own little world with the fairies, she wishes to come out again and hopefully reunite with her older brother. Who would have thought that a cute anime like this would have something so dark in it? Well, that's all the conspiracy theories I have gathered for y'all today. I hope I haven't destroyed your childhoods too much with this episode. Do you have a favorite anime related conspiracy theory? Or do you have just a general show one you might want to share with the rest of the community? Or share them in the form in the description below. If you have a topic you'd like me to discuss in the future, also leave it for me to find. If you could, please leave a like to let me know that I'm actually doing something right. Or if you're feeling extra kawaii, you can just subscribe to me and see some more awesome anime related content or let's plays. I would greatly appreciate it. That's all I have for you today, fellow otaku. So, sayonara for now. Oh no! Guardian Angel-chan!